Hello, hello. We are here with the Hellbreaker Sequence. This is episode 6 because we've decided to call every single episode we do another numbered episode. Um, Instead of doing like side stories or episode halves like we've done at one point. Like I remember in Crow Inquisitors we did like an episode 4.5 with like just Dellen, but then I because of
Yeah,
the way
yeah.
that I number the episodes, it ended up having to be like 4.5.1
4.5.1.
and then
Yeah.
4.5.2, which was just so confusing. So,
Uh, I think
but
it
yeah,
would be better in that it would be
Sounds
more
like we need some
confusing.
versioning.
Yeah. We just need
yeah,
to do the fraction. So 4.5 would be the fifth part of the four
that
and a
would
half
be awful,
episodes.
and
Yep,
the YouTube video would
exactly.
not support the half sign. So,
You'd be
I mean,
surprised. There's a
well,
Unicode for that.
I
for
I
sure.
don't want to get into it. Just let's just keep it simple. So, there have been two question mark episodes since two episodes, two like solo slash mini episodes since we all were together. And first off, the Hellbreakers did some stuff. um so David, I guess David and Josh both, the Perihelions and the New Harmony, obviously the Forgotten Heralds also know this, but that's because we did a mini session here. But
Right.
um you guys have been getting inklings that there is a new leader of the Hellbreakers. That someone has. So you guys know the legends of the Hellbreakers, involving like their prophet leader from the past that like inspired them to rise up, take the tools of their oppression, and like save themselves from the apocalypse. By using the industrial gear that they had like once been their tools to like build the monuments the Perihelions wanted them to.
Right.
He was like your prophet leader, and he wore this like some say magic cloak that like signified him as this prophet leader.
Right.
And the last person, it's been like a thing that the prophet leaders of the Hellbreakers over the years have worn this cloak. But the last person to wear this cloak, a guy named Alon, was exiled or ran away or something. There was a falling out, and he left for the wasteland with the cloak. And ever since then, the Hellbreakers have been in total anarchy, right? Like nobody
The
knows who's in
tool.
charge. That's why they
Yeah.
have the town hall democracy, where like everyone's just arguing with each other. They don't know what to do. But apparently, recently, someone came back with the cloak. They maybe apparently went out with it's unclear. There's a bunch of different stories. Some people say that this woman killed the leader, found him in the wasteland and killed him and took the cloak. Others say that it was given to her by a forgotten herald. Right, like there's a whole bunch of different stories floating around. But a woman named Riva has taken control of the Hellbreakers and brought them under a shaky leadership that is pointing them in one direction now. But that's the stuff
Do
you
we
guys
have
are familiar with.
any idea how they're interacting with the man? Every time we play this game, I forget all the factions' names for some reason.
The Forgotten Heralds.
Uh, no, Jared's
Oh.
guys.
As of yet,
Because
you don't know anything.
Jared
Yeah.
is supposed to be mobilizing them functionally. So I was just curious how she's interacting with that.
There hasn't been any interaction on screen yet between the two
Right.
factions.
Okay.
We just know what we already know, and that's they got like defenses or whatever.
Yeah.
Whatever it was that they got.
Cool.
From benefiting from them, yeah. And there are other things that have happened that you guys could like try to figure out through various means of gathering information. But that's the stuff that's floating around in general. Let's see. That's like the main thing that's like been obvious enough that everyone kind of knows about it. I did a mini session with Riva, with the main character of the Hellbreakers. She went from being a rebel to being a leader in that session. It was a fun session. I liked it a lot. it was really weird starting out, but by the end of it, it was so natural to just like, because I was basically playing like her and another character that she came into contact with, and just
Right.
letting the roles decide where the narrative was heading. It reminded me a lot, honestly, of when I was doing that with Burning Wheel for To Look Skyward. Just like writing along and then making rolls to decide what happened, sort of a thing. But then last week, Carly and I did a mini session with
A week ago.
Yeah, 2 weeks. 2 weeks ago. With Riva and Harhel. And so there was a connection that happened between the Hellbreakers and the Forgotten Heralds, but it's not public knowledge yet. So, yeah. I think the other stuff that like is known is anything that was added to the map, which is one thing. Basically, it's really the New Harmony who really is probably would pay attention to this, but Paradise Lost now has angels with flaming swords barring the way into the void.
What?
So, the Forgotten Heralds
I
basically
heard you.
found Paradise Lost. They like realized it existed, and like are now standing out in front of it with flaming swords, like barring anyone passage, like the Garden of Eden sort of thing.
So where is this?
Over here.
Far west
right,
of the
right.
Map near the near your hot springs.
Yeah. So what is Paradise Lost again?
Paradise Lost is a bizarre, like, toxic, weird garden that is within it. There is a portal to the world of shadows where the Tannerin live.
Oh.
So
Right.
yeah, it's basically
Okay.
it's like the world of shadows seeping into this world, and like a weird toxic like alien garden has sprung up.
Okay.
So
Gotcha.
yeah, that's the stuff that's like been added to the map. There is a thing also that is going on with the what's it called? The perihelions. That can come up, but basically I guess I want to just open the floor to whatever we want to start with. We'll just maybe start with some family moves that you guys are interested in.
Do I
and
know
then
what the thing is?
yeah, I could basically what I'm saying is I could start by explaining that, and that would lead into like probably a scene, or we can start with someone else, right?
Oh yeah, that doesn't matter.
So yeah, does Josh or Carly, do you have something in the immediate that you want to like pursue right away, or does it make sense to?
Right now.
Yeah.
At the very least, I have to look over my notes first.
Yeah.
I think the New Harmony is interested in the changes that are happening with the Hellbreakers.
Yeah. Okay.
Can you actually? That's in the handouts. I can find it myself. That's their family moves, isn't it?
Yeah, you could uncover secrets. It's probably what you'd be rolling there, right? You'd be like,
Right,
what's the
there it
truth
is.
behind, the Hellbreakers' change in government or whatever. So yeah, you'd roll plus data spent if you wanted to do that.
I have a quick question.
Do I
Okay.
have
Oh,
data
sorry.
to spend?
Let's look.
Can you bring us over to the page?
Yes, indeed.
Thank you.
You have 2 data spend.
I do. Oh, excellent. I'm going to then spend. Don't be stingy. Resources are for spending. I'm going to spend 2 data.
Sounds good. Do it.
Trying to specifically think of how I want to put this together. It's probably going to be what's the truth behind. I want this to be worth it, right? It's not just like because I know that there's a new player rose to power in the Hellbreakers, but I'm not sure why.
Mm-hmm.
Where'd she come from? Maybe it's better just to spend a single point of data.
Mm-hmm.
Here, what's the truth behind the changes among the Hellbreakers?
Sure. Yeah. Roll 2d6 plus 1.
What was the format for
Advantage.
Yeah, just so I can have the generic version.
It should be either K2 or D1, right after the 2d6 and before the modifier.
Drop 1, keep 2. Got it. Okay. All right, so that's an 8. Oh yeah, that's right. I roll, then I ask the question.
Yeah. So 8 on a hit, ask 1. So you get to ask one of those questions. So you can just ask the question that you wanted, basically.
Yeah. What's the truth behind the changes coming to the Hellbreakers?
Yeah. Let's see. The truth behind the changes in the Hellbreakers. So basically, I mean, you guys are spies, right? You have spies. You have a surplus of spies, if I remember correctly. Yeah.
I do, yes.
So you basically get the real story.
Excellent.
So Riva was a rebel in the Hellbreakers. Rebel, particularly because she was kind of like out of favor. She had done something to upset the Hellbreakers' shaky alliance with the Forgotten Heralds, and had made some sort of mistake that had gotten some of the heralds killed or captured or something like that. And so she was, but she was really concerned about the basic, like, directionless, focusless nature of the Hellbreakers and wanted to do something to change it. And so she set out to the wasteland to find Elon, the guy who had the cloak of the prophet leader, who was once the leader and then was kicked out. She basically went to like beg him to come back and take over the Hellbreakers again, right? To like come whip them into shape. Whatever, like, your spies don't really know exactly how the conversation went down, because like a lot of that was just in private, and she hasn't like said much of it publicly. But whatever he said to her, she came back with the cloak, and he didn't. He's probably still out in the wasteland somewhere. But whether or not she stole it or he gave it to her, unsure. But one way or another, she ended up with this cloak and showed up at like a meeting of the Hellbreakers and basically said, I am the new prophet of the Hellbreakers. Like, God is speaking to me. I'm in charge now. You better listen to me. And basically has started taking over the Hellbreakers that way. And from what your spies have been able to suss out, she is basically trying to gather allies right now. That's the main push they're making. So like gather people who can help them do something big.
Okay. They want to do something big, eh?
Mm-hmm.
And she's claiming to be a prophet.
She's claiming to be a prophet, yeah.
Wondering how much I've got in the way of... Probably can't do it on a family level. I think I have to zoom in for this.
What do you want to do?
So the New Harmony are very interested in gaining some influence over this new prophet.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Nice.
Like, recruitment, occult dreams. What can we come up with? You know, just our own personal Grima Wormtongue and her company. Yeah. What are we looking to do? So that's kind of where I would like to go.
I mean, that sounds like conduct diplomacy to me.
Okay.
Or
I don't see that. Oh, there it is.
Yeah, it would probably be conduct diplomacy, because you're either doing a meeting with one of their VIPs, right, or access to a tightly guarded location or item. Probably one of those two is what you're looking for to accomplish that task. Yeah, so be rolling with reach.
Okay.
And then from there, we'd probably zoom in.
I misplace this folder every time. I need to set up my windows before we get started, because I do this every time and I get lost. Okay. So reach is 0.
But you do have advantage, I think, right? Did you have like advantage on everything, or just advantage on one thing?
Can you jump me to the page again, please?
Yep.
It would behoove
For
me to
sure.
write this down somewhere.
Because I was trying to remember what you had exactly there.
So the way this works.
You roll slight with advantage because you.
Slight gets advantage, yes.
Your eldritch powers are from the dark forces from beyond this world.
Right.
Yeah. So you would just be rolling reach straight.
Mm-hmm.
I do believe there's ways to get bonuses on this, though.
Oh, hang on, though. Did I burn my Enlightened Madness from last time? No, I didn't get an Enlightened Madness
You haven't
yet.
gotten one yet, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I need to keep running things. I need to keep doing things with advantage then.
Mm-hmm.
For my Enlightened Madness. So...
yeah, if you had a point of tech, you could give a roll advantage, but you don't have one. So...
Right. Oh, because that was...
Data can be spent on a character level or on uncover secrets. And tech can be spent on a family level or with unleash power. Like, you can give a device to a particular character.
Okay.
Yeah, it'd just be a straight roll, probably.
Yeah, okay. I'll just roll plus reach then. That's a hit.
Yeah, there you go. It's good enough. You get what you wanted and 1 data. On a 7 to 9, your agents had to get help from a third party. Say which of your allies helped them seal the deal and give them 1 treaty. What do you think?
Which of my allies?
Basically, some other third party had to come along and help set up this. Are you looking for a meeting with a VIP or a location, like a access to a tightly guarded location or item?
I'm trying to decide, right? Because what the other option was information on an opportunity or threat.
Yes. Also.
I'm actually, you know what? I'm going to go with that.
Okay.
Information on an opportunity or threat. I want to know what they're building. What is this big? Not building necessarily, but we've themed them builders. So what's their project?
They're planning for? Yeah.
What's their big thing they're planning for?
Okay. Yeah.
And for that, I'm willing to work with the Last Watch.
Yeah. Obviously.
I'm going to need to check my stat totals against the Last Watch, though, because as we established last time, I think we just didn't do any of the accounting right on these.
Yeah, so that's interesting because it tells us at least one thing about the Last Watch. There's at least one person in the Last Watch who is willing to help you. Obviously, there's a bunch of independent cells, so that makes sense. But as of what we knew about them before is they were hostile to you, right? They battle the Eldritch powers, but at least one person or one cell is at least willing to help you get access to the Hellbreakers in this instance. So, yeah, all the factions are definitely malleable in this sense.
Nice.
Lots of different individuals with different motivations.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, you basically give them a treaty to help pull this off. But yeah, basically there is a person who works with the Hellbreakers, works in Kelith, that city where the Jadanites is what I've determined to call them. Basically the race of slaves that the Hellbreakers come from, the Jadanites. One of the people stationed in Kelith basically gives you a tip on this information you're looking for. Yeah, let me update the treaty for both of you. Okay, yeah. So let's see. I feel like you could probably get this information without zooming in, actually, if you're just looking for what the big thing is.
Yeah, what is their big thing?
Yeah, the big thing is they're going to take down the Perihelions. They're going to do some major strike, like terrorism, basically, right? They want to gather up allies and then try to free the Jadanites from Perihelion oppression by making some sort of major strike that will cripple them. I think you get the sense that it's still unclear to the Hellbreakers and their allies themselves what the exact means of this is going to be. They're still in planning as to that. But it's definitely targeted at the Perihelions, and it will involve whatever resources and allies they can muster. Once they get those allies and resources, then they're going to start looking at, okay, what can we meaningfully accomplish? What's the biggest thing we can do and pull off to cripple them the most? And that will be their next step.
All right. Cool.
Poor David playing the villains in this game.
Let's do it, I think. I keep doing it to myself.
You do.
I mean, is he really the villain this time?
I mean, he's the obvious villain. You're the not so obvious villain, Josh.
I think it's a little bit more like I was the bad guy. Now
you're not necessarily the bad guy. Yeah.
Yeah, and then you were not the bad guy.
And now you definitely are. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So is that is the New Harmony just going to take notes on that and wait for some other opportunity, or press for more advantage in that area?
Get to decide what it is that I can gain from this, or what it is that I'm hoping to gain from this.
I mean, if you wanted to, you could either go to the Perihelions with this information, right?
Oh.
Or you could side with the Hellbreakers and see if you can take advantage of the Perihelions' fall.
So my needs right now are prestige and rare materials.
Mm-hmm. You could get either one of them, honestly, from either side of this conflict. Right? Because you could get rare materials from the Perihelions because they just have them, and you could ally with yourself with them, or you could go with the Hellbreakers to take them down and take them from their dead bodies, right? Like, prestige would be the same way, right? Whichever side you ended up joining, you would come out of the shadows, right? And make a name for yourself one way or the other.
I might not want to make a name for myself yet, but I do like the idea of.
Well, at the very least, you wouldn't be pariahs anymore, I guess, is what that means, because you wouldn't get the surplus of prestige, but you would erase the need.
Ah, that's true. That's true.
Yeah.
See, because well, that's what prestige. That's what getting rid of the prestige need would do for me.
Mm-hmm.
Is that people wouldn't start people right now, people's minds are like, oh, the cultists, they're the creepy weird people, they're the they're the guy that goes to work, comes home, lives furtively, and no one talks to him, and you just assume something's sketchy about that person. They're the people you see frequenting the dark alleys with occult symbols on their cloaks. Not the, hey, that businessman over there who seems to live a totally normal life could also be a cultist. Get that idea into people's heads. And that's some value right there. That's some value right there.
Yeah, so what's the plan, Mr. Cultist?
Yeah.
Let's do some cultist simulation here.
That game looks like an entire game managed cooldowns and dots. Not dots, but like the same idea of constantly keeping track of cooldown timers. I'm not gonna spend much time playing that because I don't like cooldown timers. They're scary. I think that I want to talk to. Yeah, I want to talk to one of the leaders of the Perihelions.
Mm-hmm. I mean, it sounds like another conduct diplomacy. Sounds like you want a meeting with one of their VIPs.
I do.
Luckily, one of their VIPs just happens to be infiltrating you right now.
Yeah, that's true.
Oh, that's right. Or is it? I don't.
It is, yeah. The Beirut's, his current position is basically as like a advisor. I don't know if you know that he's from the Perihelions or not. I guess it's up to you whether or not you would have let him in if he was Perihelion.
I mean, it sounds like you have. Didn't it sound like basically he has infiltrated them? Like that sounds like
describe it as infiltration. Yeah. I'm not sure how hard it would be to tell because he's spiked through with gold all the time. But
I mean, my suspicion is that with our plethora of spies and we're drawing people from all walks of life, we don't maybe the question isn't so much where you're from as much as where your loyalties really lie.
Yes. Yeah.
With that.
Yeah, especially because we already know that there are, because I think it was your faction that has somebody in Azimuth that is like actually on your side already. So
sounds right.
You've infiltrated each other's factions.
Right.
Yeah, basically.
Mm-hmm. You guys do have a backstory thing, by the way. You sat in council with Beirut, and he taught you wisdom.
Right. Right.
I think we assumed that was kind of part of like the background of me having infiltrated, basically.
Right.
So Ashley gave you some useful information.
Oh, I just realized that your backstory, Josh, with Jared's character was fulfilled with the last session that we had Jared win in. Oh. Cassius's bargain for power might have doomed us all, right?
Oh.
His joining the Perihelions. That's really what that is, right?
Oh, sure.
Yeah, that's right.
Sure. Sure. I'm excited to see how that's going to play out because I don't know off the top of my head what.
Oh, I definitely know more now.
There's no obvious thread, but I'm glad you picked up on that because that's awesome. That's awesome. Okay. Yep. So plus reach, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Oh boy.
Does he have to? Well, I suppose to get results, he'd have to roll. I was gonna say he would almost have free access to my character already. I don't know why.
Yeah, this should be the terms of the meeting.
Right.
Yeah.
Like we figured out before.
Get treated to someone again, aren't I? No, be optimistic.
All right, 7. That's still a hit.
Barely.
So once again, your agents had to get help from a third party, but you get what you wanted and 1 data.
Okay.
Got 3 data now, so that's fun.
3 data. I spent right because I just
I spent 1, made 2, and gained 2. Yep.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I'm gonna leverage my ally in the Last Watch for this again. I think.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I should really figure out who this guy is. I need to. Last Watch contact.
I think they're valuable now.
Yeah.
All of a sudden.
Write that down. I'll make him as a character. Him or her. Cool. Yeah. So you give another treaty to the Last Watch. And you get your meeting. So obviously it would be with Beirut because that just makes sense. But yeah, I mean, one of you, I guess let's just basically go to the story moves and zoom in and stuff.
Okay.
When you focus on a critical scene where a handful of people might change the course of history over hours or days, say where you are on the map. Where is this meeting taking place?
Oops, I don't want to be looking at the stream.
Because obviously, what's it called?
DM view.
The new harmony is dispersed, so you guys could basically be anywhere.
Yeah.
But the assumption, I guess, would be like wherever you are both right now.
Yeah, it would probably be wherever your primary station is, since
right.
I'm
exactly
in console with you, basically.
Oh, by the way, for that whole the question you asked before about the Hellbreakers, you can technically, in that move, it says for each answer, add an appropriate detail to the map.
Okay.
Can you think of any detail that might need to be added to the map, given the revelation of the what you learned?
Headquarters of the Secret Revolution?
Yeah.
I'm going to put it due east of Keleth.
Sounds good.
Although, hang on. Oh, okay. I see what you're doing.
Yeah.
Like, why are there 2 copies of the stadium paragraph? No, I'm just not paying attention. Don't mind me.
Cool. Yeah. Good stuff.
Okay.
Yeah. So where are you meeting?
I think we're gonna do a. So help me figure out the grounds for this or the context for this, David.
Yeah.
Since it's your faction's character I'm interacting with here.
Yeah.
Do I know now that this character's true loyalties still lie with the perihelion? Through the communication I've had through my ally in the last watch, I assume I reached out, said, "Hey, I have something."
Hey, I found out that you're actually still more connected to the perihelions than I thought you were.
I think it's reasonable to know that he's still influential with the perihelions, but whether or not he is true to them, I don't know that would be, because that's sort of something you could only know by asking him. Like,
sure,
right? I mean, sure. I don't know that anybody would be able to know without like talking to him about it. But I think knowing that he's still influential in the perihelions makes sense. You may have already known that already.
Okay.
But yeah, I think if it definitely do now.
Okay.
Yeah, your last watch contact probably just tipped you off to the last piece of the puzzle you needed to know that Beruz's infiltration of your faction was an actual infiltration, and whether or not he is an ally of yours in a and part of the New Harmony in any meaningful way is still kind of up for grabs. But at the very least, he could be your point of contact for this.
Okay. So there is this weekend a big fight between two big name bot makers. They have their two battle robots going to fight it out in the arena.
Nice.
And
in the stadium, home to Grand
loud.
Spectral and Cheap Entertainment.
Think like monster truck racing.
Yes, absolutely.
Kind of loud, bright lights, lots of sand, announcer's voice, plus like the aggression and the tension of an MMA fight or a boxing match.
Gosh, I love playing role-playing games with you, Josh.
Plus the like celebratory atmosphere of the championship ball game.
Yeah.
All rolled into one.
Yeah.
And Beiruz has just been delivered a ticket to a box seat.
Yeah, and like legitimately, right? This is like old like industrial like construction robots that have been refitted for like battle in this arena by some of the Jad Knights, right? That's perfect.
Nice. Okay.
It's like Transformers basically that are fighting in this arena.
Is it I don't know, there've been a couple of movies with this theme and I haven't seen any of them. But I have watched episodes of BattleBots on YouTube. So
there you go.
Yeah, exactly. So who runs this place? Like, would I have any reason to feel safe here?
I mean, it's kind of like a neutral place, I would imagine, right? There are a lot of different people come here. I don't think any one faction technically has control over this.
This was a placement from the New Harmony, not New Harmony, the Hellbreakers playbook, right?
Yes, I believe so.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's definitely a Jedi Knight thing. But then obviously there are Hellbreakers here and have influence here, but I don't know if it's necessarily. It's not like a Hellbreaker headquarters or anything like that. It's just
right.
Yeah.
Okay. And does he know that it's from you? I mean, he has to come anyways because that's what we've established. I'm just curious what his mentality is going in.
I mean, my webcam's being distracting. Sorry. I think there's that the messenger probably left a calling card as well of some description. Yeah. Okay. So Beiruz comes back to their place of residence, and they find a pattern drawn in blood on their mirror. And it's,
of course.
Okay.
Stuck into one of the little clamps holding the mirror to the wall.
Perfect.
Great. Okay.
And it is part of the New Harmony's glyph language, sort of communication they've devised, and out with their abstract geometries and their, mind twisting designs, they've kind of come up with a couple of general motifs. Think like the not runes from Stormlight. The glyphs from Stormlight. Right. They have a kind of a general meaning, and it's not a specific symbol as much as an idea of a symbol.
Right.
So it can be drawn in different ways, but as long as it maintains the same general shape, it's basically, this means invitation. And then there's like a mark attached to the symbol that's like friendly invitation.
Okay. Yeah.
Despite it being written in blood on your mirror, you can tell that this is New Harmony trying not to be
something the
creepy
right way.
while saying, hey, come sit down with us.
They're trying their best. Yeah.
Also,
okay.
the straight razor you use to trim your beard is half folded open with blood on it on the counter.
So this arena is called Ash and Dust. That's what the locals refer to it as. And yeah, it's definitely lots of different like arena sort of things happen here. But yeah, for tonight, it's battle robots.
Great. Okay.
They open every event with real loud, distorted music. I'm waking up.
Yeah.
This is it, the apocalypse.
And now our audio is going to be claimed. Cool. All right.
Yeah.
Oh, rest in peace, this VOD.
Yep. Excellent. I love it. Okay. Well then, yeah. So he, I guess we probably get the establishing shot from his point of view as he comes in, right?
Yeah. So real quick, let's still run through the actual like zooming in move just to make sure we have all of our bases covered, right? So
good catch.
the main character's present, say what they're there to do. We already got that. The GM describes details of the environment or asks the players questions about it. Josh already got that. And that was the establishing shot there we got. Other players may create or pick up quick characters to fill out the party. Carly, do you want to make a quick character or
be one of the robot pilots just for fun? Just in the background, you're like, and then I punch him in the face.
You could be Nausea, the person that came with Episkiatzos into the void, right?
Oh yeah, we never really resolved that storyline.
Right? She could now be like his assistant or a companion in some way.
Sure.
Yeah, that sounds fun.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. So here, let me.
Yeah, I don't want to have to make something new.
Yeah,
I take very long.
I figured. Yeah.
Just don't keep using that move this time.
I think
Move
she's
the trade's
learned
health for
something by now.
crits.
Let's see here.
Oh yeah, that's right. I came back with a -1 sway.
Let me see if I can.
Or did I?
Does that mean you walk straight better? I don't know.
Yeah, but like in a way that my hips are no longer distracting when I walk.
Well, that's disappointing.
Yeah.
Wait, are you a guy?
Yeah.
I guess whatever.
Am I? I don't know actually. No.
So question, Nasia, are you still an outsider as a role? I feel like you're probably like an agent now. I mean, obviously, outsider gives you like outsider in the quick character sense means you have strange abilities and whatnot, and we can technically still keep that. But I think it'd be fun to also mark agent, since that's not actually your role anymore. You're not outside of the faction now. You're working with the faction, which means you'd get another move, which is cool. If you're fine with that.
I'm down with that.
Yeah, so basically, say a narrow field you're an expert in. Scavenging, diplomacy, hunting, etc. When you use your skill, reveal a secret about the situation and get fleeting advantage acting on it.
I mean, I want to just say hiding.
Stealth. Yes, certainly. We can just triple down on this stealth thing.
I don't know what else to do for her. Like, I mean, I guess.
I mean,
would work, but
yeah. I mean, my question really with this, right, would be like, what do you do for Episkiatzos, right? In what capacity do you help him? Are you his bodyguard? Are you just like the weird magic person he keeps around to like solve magic problems? But he's also a magic user, so
right. You know. Or are you the kind of facilitate, kind of act as a bit of a go-between, a little more diplomatic and helpful in that respect?
Because obviously you're probably still weird. Yeah, right? I mean, Nasia is just a weirdo.
Yes, and isn't the entirety of the New Harmony?
Yeah.
That's kind of my theme, right?
I feel like she'd more like do like odds and end like errands. Like if you needed her to like stealthily spy on someone, then I mean.
Oh
she
yeah,
would
it's
do
just
that,
spying.
or, yeah.
See, that's a more particular thing than information gathering, right? That's your new thing that you have. Okay, yeah, that's cool. Yep. So when you use your skills, reveal a secret about the situation and get a fleeting advantage acting on it. So that's cool. So keep that in mind. Characters select gear according to their family's assets and the established fiction. So does everybody have their stuff? Yeah.
Probably have the same thing that I had last time, where I don't have the plane.
Yeah.
Honestly,
you didn't come here in the laser chariot.
I don't know if I'd have any of it because it's all pretty obviously perihelion, and at this point he doesn't know that you know. I don't think.
Yeah, that's fair.
So he probably has his fire breath jewelry thing, fire voice jewelry, but it's not on him, right? He's probably got it stashed away, but that's probably it.
Okay.
And I guess I have my bodyguards and stuff because they could be inconspicuous.
Right. Yeah. Are they like with you obviously as retainers, or are they like nearby?
I think so. I think they're probably obvious.
Okay. Quick question then. So for the new harmony, do each of you have your words of madness and power sustained by the void and your void walkers?
Remind me what a void walker is.
It's like a shadow dragon thing.
Yeah, they're like shadow dragon horses.
Yeah.
I don't think we're going to bring the void walkers into a crowd.
Probably not.
Dead Knights.
Seems a little high profile for the sports game. I don't know.
Yeah, like we want the sports game to continue to be loud and excited, not loud and terrified. As much as Episkiadzos might personally enjoy that moment, he wouldn't enjoy the results of scaring an arena full of people.
Mm-hmm.
So no, we're not going to bring the void walkers.
That's what you do if they have a boring show. You just summon this crazy horse thing, and you're like, "You guys suck."
So, do you guys have the words of madness and power and sustained by the void, though?
Yeah.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Cool.
Question about some housekeeping stuff from the character sheet here.
Mm-hmm.
Can I pull that harm off of my sheet now?
Yes. Yep. You died and were reborn, so
excellent.
You're good.
And then,
as you do,
okay, cool. I can actually pull that off myself.
Of course.
And then the stat changes stay the same, correct?
Yes.
Those debuffs were related to Beyond the Mortal Coil? No.
No. You can get rid of all those.
Related to my...
They were related to the harm. You can get rid of them.
Okay, cool. And then the other thing, roll moves.
Mm-hmm.
As agent, I did go after the symbol to give me hope and direction, and I made a sacrifice for it. So, do I get to advance because of that?
Basically,
or is this based on the role that I'm taking in the space in the moment?
Exactly, yeah. So right now, it sounds like you're still an agent, even though you've completed your agent quest or whatever. Basically, the way this works, if Episkiadzos, and remember, there are also two other roles. There's Prophet and Trader that we could use as well. But as soon as Episkiadzos obviously now fits one of those roles, or happens to hit the fictional trigger for any of those, then that role gets triggered, and then you get an advancement. So right, if Episkiadzos happen to gather allies to confront a horror, then he would mark leader, even if he's not necessarily like officially a leader. He's acting as if he is, according to this quest. But yeah, so you can keep those triggers in mind. You can obviously like metagame and go towards one of those triggers if you really wanted to. But yeah, so there you go. But yeah, as of right now, it sounds like he's still an agent and he hasn't advanced into another role yet. So
okay, cool.
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't sure if that was related to like advancement or if that was related to
the quests are
the
related to
space that they're
advancement because of because they're fictional triggers that can trigger the roll move, but because that was the first one you did, you completing it doesn't actually accomplish anything. It was when it was initially given to you is when the roll was marked, basically.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Yeah. So if you guys have all your stuff, then we got to do the one last thing of zooming in that I always forgot, and we never did it. You also have to tool up. When you zoom in on a character, you may equip them with any of their family's assets, customized to suit their circumstances. For each of your surpluses, pick a relevant benefit. Add a tag to a piece of gear for this mission. I know, right? We totally forgot about this every time. Get as many copies of a weapon, outfit, or vehicle as needed to outfit the whole party. Add 1 to the quality of a set of followers for this mission, or get scouts data reports worth 1 data. So the New Harmony obviously has 2. Yeah, the New Harmony has 2 surpluses, and the Perihelions have 1. So this is in story moves, by the way. Tool up. But yeah, you get to. So David, you can choose one of those options, and Josh, you can choose 2.
Okay. My gear is weird for this.
Yeah, scouts report worth 1 data. Even know if that makes sense for my surplus though. My surplus is the special materials.
I mean, you could have the data that you got is the New Harmony is interested in the rare materials.
Is that something that he can just get? Doesn't he need to make a family move
Again,
for that?
Data is literally you can spend this to get things later. Data doesn't actually even mean anything until it's spent on something.
Okay.
But it doesn't say that you can't get data for any particular surplus. So yeah, you can take that.
Okay, I just figured it made sense that he would try and get. I don't.
Actually, wait a second. But... I think it does say relevant.
Yeah, I thought so.
Yeah, relevant benefit for the surplus. So yeah.
I mean, the only thing I can think of is that one of his things is that his body is made out of nanites, so I could just give it some kind of special benefit. I don't know what that would do.
Yeah. You could also get as many copies of a weapon, outfit, or vehicle as needed to outfit the whole party, so your retainers could have all your stuff as well.
Oh. That's interesting. Yeah, that's fine. I'll just give all of them a...
The necklaces that give you
right.
Fire breath?
Basically, yeah.
Cool.
But so they're not wearing them.
Right. Are they with you, obviously?
Yeah.
As retainers? Okay. Sounds good. I think I already asked that question, but I forgot.
It's okay.
Yeah, Josh, what do you want to choose for those 2?
Scouts reports worth 1 data.
Yeah, obviously spies. Now 4 data.
Irritatingly enough. Well, that seems like a just general data generation. I'm not seeing a data spender on the character sheet here.
The character moves. It should have one that says information is power.
Well, there it is. When your character draws on your family's research, spend a point of data and get an advantage on a roll.
Yep.
Okay. So I guess that makes sense. I got data. And then I'm quickly reading back over the character moves. It's been a while. And then I guess I'm gonna go with can I add silent to my words of madness and power?
Ooh.
Well, so I've already got hidden on there, right?
Yeah.
Hidden does hidden just mean it's covert in general?
Yeah, because obviously no one knows you have words of power unless you start saying the words at them, right? It's not like your mouth is glowing. So,
but when you used them, they would not be hidden. I think it's like to say like a hidden knife would be hidden.
Exactly. It's like
stab someone.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So silent would mean that they would stay that way.
Yeah, silent would
So
basically
the difference between someone hiding a firearm on their person versus someone having a silenced firearm.
Yes.
Yeah, basically.
Okay. All right. So I'm gonna add silenced to my words of madness and power.
Yeah. So you just apparently have to just mouth them, like sub vocalize them, and it still happens. Oh, so that's apparently what Episkiadzos has been like working on for a while now, like training himself to use the words of power like as a sub vocalization. That's really cool.
So that's just for this scene, though, correct?
Yes.
Yeah, but you can do this every time.
I could if I wanted to, sure.
Yeah.
What?
Well, so hang on though. What are the surplus? So I've got surplus of leadership,
Leadership and spies. Yeah.
I mean, leadership is close enough, right?
Yeah, I think I'm fine with that simply because like it could probably be like a technique that was given to you by like the leader of the New Harmony right now, or at least your immediate superior. Yeah, I'm down with that.
And he's even more eldritch looking than Episkiadzos.
Yes, he is. I know exactly what he looks like.
Despite the fact that Episkiadzos literally has no eyes.
What about that?
All right.
Cool. Yeah. So frame the scene for us, guys.
Yeah. I mean, I assume you're already there when I get there, right? Sounds like.
No.
Oh, okay.
It's a kind of a remote box. It's pretty obvious why these boxes exist.
Yeah.
For meetings to happen without being overheard.
Yeah.
And so there's not really very many people around. There's a couple of vendors and not much else. Once you get into the box itself, it's kind of recessed. There's big walls sticking out on either side of the box, so you can't see who's in the next one over. No one can really see in. So there's no one in the box.
Okay, so it's empty when I get there, you're saying?
Correct.
Okay, well that's a little suspicious, but yeah, so...
And then you see a red dot on your chest.
I guess Beirut looks over to
Taller? Or
Taller
Nissa?
was the guy. Nissa, yeah. Looks over to Nissa and says, well, this is odd. You may want to secure the room. And then he looks over at Taller and says, or just like gestures to a seat or whatever and sits down.
Yeah. He does that. And Nissa quickly does check for bugs, checks for any hidden explosives or anything like that, right?
When you said bugs, I immediately thought insects.
Yeah, obviously the magic bugs that can kill you.
Obviously.
Yeah, bug magic, man. So yeah, she does the quick sweep of the box seat. I mean, does she find? She probably doesn't find anything. Yeah.
Nope.
And
if anything, it's suspiciously clean.
Yeah.
It's evident that someone came through and meticulously cleaned everything up already.
Sure. Yeah, and she comes back to you, Beirut, and says, I didn't find anything. Not even a wrapper.
Let's hope that's a good sign. Take a seat, and he just gestures towards another seat.
Yeah, I think she looks at you and she says, if you don't mind, I think I'll stand.
I don't.
I have a bad feeling about this.
How well do I know? I'm sorry. What is the name of your character?
Episkiadzos.
Right. How well do I know Skiadzos?
Episkiadzos.
How well do I know
the whole
Scad?
word.
Scad. Zos. Ep.
Yeah.
Any of these syllables work?
I mean, call him Skiadzos. Just means shadow.
Nice.
But Episkiadzos is a bit better because
He who overshadows.
Yeah.
I mean, we've sat in council together, and you've taught me wisdom.
Yeah. Mostly I want to know if this place being austere is a good indication that you're coming, is what I'm wondering. Because, I mean, I assume this is by far the cleanest spot I've seen so far since I've come here. So I'm wondering if that's any kind of... Because I know that your faction invited me, and I'm curious if I know that your character is meticulously clean in any way. Or to be meticulously clean.
Meticulously clean might not be the right way to describe Episkiadzos, but meticulous definitely.
Okay.
I think that from what you know of Episkiadzos, it would make sense that he would have his people thoroughly clean a box before it's used.
Yeah, so he says
removing bugs and stuff.
And I assume he probably also knows that you being cryptic in inviting him is pretty standard.
That's par for the course, absolutely.
Right, yeah. So he says, I suspect we will can expect a visit from Episkiadzos. I don't think you need to be concerned.
Oh, you're saying that to Nissa?
Yeah.
I think she just like looks ahead at the battle robots that are crashing into each other. One of them grabs one of the other's heads and like rips it off. The crowd cheers. And she kind of like shuffles nervously and she says, "If it's all the same to you, sir, I think I will continue to remain concerned. It's kind of my job."
It's fine. Yeah, then he'll just wait.
Episkiadzos is going to send Nasia in ahead to shoo out the retainers.
What does that mean?
The other people that
basically like tell the other two people to like leave.
Okay.
Say, "Hey, dude, shoot."
Yeah. So what do we see? What does Nasia look like again?
Remember, because basically the entire last session she was just in darkness.
That's very true.
Well, she's from the Valley of the Wind, so she's got nothing.
No, it's Nasia,
I know it's
not Nausicaa.
Yeah, I know. It was close enough for me to want to make the joke.
Bug magic.
Yeah, hey, there we go.
We definitely watched Nausicaa in the Valley of the Wind when we were doing this campaign because I was like, it reminds me of this. What were you going to say, Carla?
Just her look is angular face, calculating eyes, and graceful body.
Is she obviously human still?
Yeah.
Okay. What is like weird about her? Because obviously she's like New Harmony, so there's weird like I know you have like Night Stalker, so you can see perfectly and move silently in the utmost darkness, but you must become a carrion eater.
Oh,
so that's true about your character.
Not worth it at all.
There's probably something up with her eyes. Like they just look weird for some reason.
Does she have eye whites, or is it all iris
black?
And
oh, yeah, I like that. Her eyes are just completely black.
Yeah, I love that.
I love this faction.
Mm-hmm. What kind of clothes is she wearing?
Probably just simple all black, like pretty like fitted outfit with probably lots of pockets.
Cool. Yeah. So you step in, and how does that go?
She literally just says, she like points to the other two people and just says, "Shoo."
Nissa gives you a look. Beirut.
I don't recognize this woman, do I?
I don't think so, no.
Okay. So he just says, well, I mean, just black. Yeah, so he says, "You are not Episkiadzos," is that right? He doesn't
Episkiadzos,
but
yeah.
Okay. And then he looks at your eyes and says, "Though you do remind me of him."
Do you want me to shoot her? I can shoot her.
No, let her explain herself. Then he looks pointedly at her.
Yeah, I don't know what to say after that. What would you have told me to say?
I mean, the instructions were basically Episkiadzos wants the other two out of the box so that he and Beirut can talk in peace.
Yeah. Should just say that then.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, Nissa is just giving you a look like, don't do it.
Is that typical of our interchanges? Would this be unusual?
I'm trying to picture. So a lot of this hinges on our original meetings and conversation.
Yeah.
Because it does say sat in council. It doesn't say I overheard you teaching one day.
No, yeah. I think that he is trustworthy of you, but he also is holding secrets back that could change your guys' relationship. So I'm just curious if this is normal, because if it is, then he's fine with it.
I mean, you're also like a member of one of the rich societies that's probably full of politicking and stuff. Yes.
Yeah. I'm sure
this is fairly standard for all of that too. Like, it's not New Harmony Episkiadzos specific. I think it's pretty normal to bring retainers and then muscle each other around a little bit and see if you can get them. And eventually you probably just end up with the two of them in a conversation.
Yeah, I'm sure it wouldn't bother him if like somebody from Azimuth did that, but I'm just curious if that's normal for you, because I wanted to gauge if something has changed, right? That's
okay, sure.
Yeah.
I don't think that so normal looks very different for Episkiadzos, obviously. Yeah. I think what's changed is maybe the idea of him having someone to walk in and shoo the retainers out instead of just walking in and kind of staring at them with his no-eyed stare until they leave out of fear.
Right, yeah.
Like, I think he would do his own errands. He used to.
Yeah, okay.
This is maybe a bit of a change.
I think he says as much. He says, "You are new. I'm used to Episkiadzos doing his own dirty work."
She just blinks.
Long and slow.
Yep.
Yeah, he just shakes his head and he says, "Yes, you do seem the sort." All right, well, Nissa, just find a spot that you can see the box from. Take Tyler with you. Watch a robot kill another robot or something. I don't care. This won't take a long night, I suspect.
Yeah, Taylor stands up nervously and just kind of brushes himself off and just kind of coughs and starts walking out, giving you a strange look as he walks by, as if he's simultaneously creeped out and aroused by you at the same time.
What?
Like, he obviously like is interested in you, but like obviously still like unnerved. Yeah, it's probably obvious.
Okay.
Like,
then I lock eyes with him and I just shake my head.
And he walks past you, still like kind of like as he walks by. But yeah, Nissa gives you another look, Beirut, and says, "Are you sure about this?"
I am not without my own competences. I will be all right. Competencies, right? Yeah, competencies. I shouldn't remember how that word.
Yeah. She kind of smirks a little bit and says, "You're not getting any younger, Beirut." And then she kind of chuckles to herself and starts to walk out.
Yeah, he says, I think as she's leaving, he says, "That's typical." Or no, he wouldn't say that because he doesn't know that you guys know. All right, never mind. I was about to give himself away. All right.
Yeah. So she walks past and gives you a dirty look as she walks out, Nasia. Yeah. Does Episkiadzos appear?
Yep. I think he just walks in the door like a normal person.
Now, does Nasia leave at this point, or?
I mean, only if he asked me to.
Right. That's what I'm wondering.
Yeah.
No, I mean, he's not going to say anything to Nasia other than acknowledging her presence. But
yeah, so you're just like standing at the door, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I thought you wanted to talk in private.
In fact, Nastia just kind of like backs into the corner into a shadow.
Yeah, no, honestly, yeah, you probably just back out into the doorway, right? Like into the entranceway, and then just disappear. Like it's you're probably standing right there, but you're probably just gone, right? Like nobody can even see you.
So to prompt that, Episkiadzos will kind of wave her off dismissively.
She just fades into the shadow.
Just kind of melts away.
You Homer Simpson into the hedge, but like it's
exactly.
But it's just into
the shadow beyond the door frame.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's very creepy, Barus.
In that case, instead of saying that, he says, "Atypical of you to have somebody else do your dirty work for you."
Episkiadzos just kind of sits there, staring. If the fight's down here, he's kind of looking up and a little bit left. He's clearly not looking at anything because he has no eyes, but also like it's disconcerting that he's not looking toward the fight either.
And Vindicator takes another hit. This could be it, folks.
I admit I was not aware you were a fan of this sort of thing.
Okay, just for the like canon's sake, these are like legitimately going to be Transformers. Like they can turn into construction vehicles and into giant robots.
Yes. There's an infection, among the Jadenites.
Do I know who they are?
Yeah, it's the people.
We're literally surrounded by a group of them.
It's the slave race. That's like the common name. Like that's what they're actually called. The Hellbreakers are part of the Jadenites.
Right. Okay, gotcha. Yeah, he says that seems to be the case essentially all of the time. There's always something going on.
There's always something going on. The Hellbreakers. What do you know of them?
They're a labor force. I mean, what else is there to know?
Just a labor force, are they? Okay.
Classic perihelion hubris, conflating the Hellbreakers with the Jadenites as a whole. Classic.
Yeah. Is it often you see them do anything else?
I don't see much of anything these days. He kind of turns,
yes, I suppose.
the smooth face transitioning to wrinkles around his mouth, just kind of smirks at you in a way that blood turns to ice.
Another reason this seems a strange hobby for you, I must admit.
Did you know the Hellbreakers have a prophet?
Well, destitute people always have to look somewhere, don't they?
You really know nothing of the people you subjugate.
Well, I spend most of my time... I don't actually know what a cultist of your cult does for most of the time. What would be typical of that?
So what's typical of a member of the New Harmony really depends on kind of where you're at.
In the
like
hierarchy.
If you're in the, if you're like kind of your rank and file New Harmony, it's probably you wake up.
You make more money as a leader, but you have more fun as a follower.
Yeah, you wake up, you drink your caffeine, you go to work, you sit at your desk job or your construction job or, your guard post all day. You come home, have a nice bite to eat with your wife and kids, go out to the pub, maybe have a drink, meet someone in a back alley for a sacrifice, head on home. It's pretty much a normal life, but also the strange dreams and the
rituals in the night,
the rituals in the night.
Yeah.
And then as you kind of go up the hierarchy, you tend to have more strange dreams and more rituals in the night until eventually you don't have a daytime anymore because that's your day job is the New Harmony and managing as a kind of middle manager or whatever.
Yeah, I mean, so this is a question, right? Like, what part of it are you infiltrating, Beirut?
Well, I assumed that I was an advisor, so
Okay.
probably like, yeah. I mean, I didn't think that's enough to know my answer. So he's like, I'm an advisor. I don't get to act much in the subjugating role. I'm not sure what you mean.
Talking about the perihelions.
What about?
Do the perihelions as a whole care about the Hellbreakers?
I imagine they should. They're the only reason that sun is still floating up there, after all. Although I'm not sure why you care what my opinion is.
Because you're perihelion.
Yeah, so he raises an eyebrow and he says, "Now who told you that?"
I know things. Beirut. I think before, up to this point, he's been using whatever Greek alias you were given on your induction into the cult. Mm-hmm. And I think at this point, he name drops your actual perihelion name.
Okay, cool. Yeah, so he says, that's not a very specific answer.
It wasn't a very specific question.
I think it was. I asked for a person. Who told you that? I'm not sure how much more specific it could be, actually.
I can't be very specific either. I didn't see them.
Well, I see you're going to play coy.
I love that so much.
We hear Nasia chuckle from the shadows.
Yes,
I laughed. He laughed. The shadow laughed.
Shot the toaster.
I shot the shadow.
Oh, that's not very nice. What did she do to you?
Nissa shot the shadow.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, there are two Decepticons going at it in the arena right now.
Okay, yeah, so then he says, I think he says, I still believe you haven't answered my question. What is it that you care for my opinion on this? Why do you care about my opinion on this?
Their new prophet. The Hellbreakers have always followed a prophet. It's part of what makes them who they are and why they have such influence among the Jadonites. Their prophet always had messages of... What was the doctrine? It was like something... What was the message that the
basically it's like... give me a second. Let me find the stuff I wrote down. Give you more specific wording. Basically, let's see. The masses that once served the perihelions during their rise to power, among those, the descendants of those who would become the Hellbreakers were exiled en masse from when their deathless overlords left for the utopia of Azimuth. As the world was transformed into a wasteland through reckless terraforming, the once slaves, now exiles, looked on in horror, abandoned and helpless. And that is until a man named Jadin gathered the people and helped them to use the equipment that had once been the mark of their bondage to rescue them from the devastation of the shadowing. He led an elite group known as the Hellbreakers to push back the tide of inevitable destruction. So basically, he picked up everybody by their bootstraps and said, I have a message from God. I'm here to save everybody. Here's how we do it. And ever since then, the prophet leader has been like, I am anointed by God to lead the Hellbreakers and like continue to help us survive this world that we now live in.
Through a message of like creation and industrial prosperity kind of thing?
I mean, it's more vague than that. It's more like, it's more about virtue and spirit and stuff than like any particular methodology or approach to things. It's more just about like, we have to survive this apocalypse. We're God's chosen people. I'm God's chosen prophet. Follow me, because if you follow me, we can actually survive this apocalypse, sort of thing. And obviously, it's gotten kind of more ambiguous and ambiguous as the years have gone by and the prophets have continued their succession, because things are getting better and better. And their whole purpose of like survival is now becoming less and less like a pressing issue. But that was at least the impetus of everything.
Okay.
So you said they've always had a prophet with
a message.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So he says, yes, of course they've had a prophet. They're the only reason it's the only reason those people are still where they are. Prophet is, after all, or a figurehead is a blessing to the agency of control.
They had a prophet, and he preached, build, come together, prosper. He preached, follow me, and I'll help us survive. But look around you. I see survival, don't you?
Yes, it's unfortunate he went and messed everything up.
I see survival, I see thriving, I see a people. And yet, squalor, filth. Do you smell it? And as he does so, he realizes two of the wrinkles on his face are actually like nostril slits.
Yes, yeah, great.
It's a powder keg.
Yeah.
Waiting for a spark.
Yes, that is precisely the problem. That is why it is a shame that he went and messed everything up. You see, a figurehead consolidates hope and any other sort of thing like that. Right now, all these people have their complaints and their dreams all bundled up within themselves. When does that give you? Things like riots, guerrilla cells, things you can't kill. You can't track those things. But a prophet is conveniently consolidated all of us hope into one very exposed,
extinguishable.
Yes, that was a nice word for it. You see, a riot, you cannot kill a riot until you've destroyed enough of its cohesion that everyone else flees. It's messy, dangerous, all sort of things. But a revival with a prophet requires only one head, and then it falls apart.
A docile prophet. A prophet to lead the people in a sort of existence, not an uprising.
Well, that would be ideal. Unfortunately, prophets born of squalor often are not willing to take on such a convenient point of view.
The original prophet of the Hellbreakers left the city bearing a cloak, the symbol of his authority.
Not the original, but the most recent, yeah.
Most recent, the latest.
Yeah.
The last prophet of the Hellbreakers left the city bearing his cloak, the symbol of his authority, and he was gone. Well, guess what? That cloak is back. Has a new bearer.
Well, I am glad to hear that. Hopefully we can get back to things as usual. People can stop realizing how poor their lives are and let someone else tell them.
Light-blinded fool. Light-blinded fool. You think that if you light the spark on top, if you watch the spark land on the powder keg, that you can just snuff it out?
Of course. Like I said, a figurehead is more easily removed than an aimless, mad, rioting mob.
Maybe a powder keg was the wrong terminology. A little crass. You don't seem to be grasping the concept. A shaped charge warhead strapped to your front door. Do you snuff out the spark that touches that? Or did you not let the spark form in the first place?
I think perhaps you give them a little too much credit in their description. And yes, you do let the spark form because, you see, hope is a... Oh, sorry, I'm trying to think of the word. Can't be stationary. I don't know.
Stagnant?
That's the opposite of that.
Dynamic.
It can't stop. It can't stop moving.
Inexorable.
Inexorable.
Yeah. It is an inexorable idea. It will grow one way or another, and there is only one way to counter its growth, and that is to allow it to come to a head, let them understand it as truth, and then snuff it out. And that will destroy the spirit behind it. That is the only way to reset its inexorable climb. It cannot be halted or stopped, only reset. It's unfortunate, but such is the way of human dissatisfaction with its lot in life.
I see.
Now, I don't know anything about the new prophet, do I?
Nope.
Okay.
Only that I've told you that there is one now.
There is
Yeah.
one, yeah.
I've made allusions to them being inflammatory, but
Yeah. So he says, I appreciate you bringing this to my attention. However, I was not aware that they'd had a new figurehead in place or anything about them, to be honest. But now that I know that they exist, of course we can remedy this. Though I assume you're not willing to do that for me.
unfortunately, we're not in the business of eliminating things that we find inconvenient.
Oh, no, I didn't expect you to do that.
Uncovering the dark truths of the world is seldom convenient.
Yes, I was just...
But always worth harnessing. Have a good day, Beiruz. Heavy Scazzles just gets up and walks out the door.
Yeah.
His cloak kind of brushes over Beiruz's head. He's like, I don't care anymore.
Yeah.
Shh, you're gone. You're done to me.
Yeah, so then he
And we just see a shadow follow Episcathus.
Yep.
A word he kind of hears behind him. The words, enjoy the spectacle.
And but whether or not he means the robots punching each other or whatever is about to happen, you're unsure.
Yeah, and he just sighs and says, I've made a habit of it over the last however many hundred of years he's been old now. How old he is now. How long has this been going on? Like 100, 200 years, did we say?
I think he said 150. It's been 150 since the shadowing.
I guess that's sort of, yeah, he just says, I've made a habit of it. And then I think he just, sort of whispers. He says, Nissa, you can come back in now. Because I have a built-in communication thing.
Yeah, so you don't get an answer immediately.
What? I assume she's somewhere.
Can I
CRA,
words of madness? Can I words of madness and power the two retainers on my way out?
You just want to attack them?
Well, so I instructed her to be in view of the
yes.
box.
Yeah.
So I assume I can see where they are. Right?
So
so
basically, I think like they got us like a seat somewhere.
The boxes are, per the narrative, the boxes are set up so you can't really see who's in them.
But can I not see down from there?
My assumption or my expectation was that there was a spot kind of behind each of the boxes. Those like kind of like hallway, access way.
Yeah.
And like across the hall from the boxes.
But
It's
the
just
boxes
kind of a convenient stack of like,
it's not like a balcony.
pallets
It's like
something.
yeah.
Right. It's like a kind of an enclosed thing. There's a convenient stack of pallets across from each of the boxes, just, sitting there for when they need shipments or lackeys and stuff to sit on while their
Yeah, so in
masters
this
have
case,
discussions.
she wouldn't be able to like have a place to actually see you, but she would have tried to be as close as possible.
Okay, I see.
But yeah, so I mean, this isn't like she's gonna die or whatever. There's just like basically what happens is you try to communicate with her, you don't get anything back immediately, and then someone else walks through the doorway.
Well, if I couldn't see them, then I probably wouldn't stay in the box because
right.
So
I was under the
I
impression
guess
that they were nearby.
Got it.
I could see them. Sorry.
Okay.
You're fine. Yeah, so basically,
Sorry.
as soon as Episkiazos leaves and you say that, you just start walking out.
Yeah, I would follow out shortly after. Because, there's no reason for me to be out of contact. Yeah,
I mean, basically, like, right before you're about to, like, get out of the box, someone, like, steps into the doorway. And it's a very tall, bald man with a bunch of light tattoos all over him. And he is very ripped. He's wearing, like, dark brown clothing, dark brown cloak. And he steps in front of you and he says, Beiruz, I'm here to speak with you, if you have a moment.
Wait, so I don't get the impression that this is the same faction, I assume, right?
Mm-mm.
He doesn't look, okay. Yeah, so he's
obviously your same race, but...
Right. Oh.
Because he has, like, all the, like, holograms and stuff.
Oh, so sorry, I somehow missed that part.
Yeah, he has like light hologram tattoos all over his like bald head and his arms.
He says, "Then we can speak while we walk. Come with me." And then we'll go to reconvene with the son. Yeah,
and he steps along with you. And it's only a couple more steps before you like come around a corner and Nissa and Taylor are waiting for you. And they look suspicious that there's another guy with you, but everybody just falls into step and you like walk along the corridor as like the window, like these like openings show out into the stadium as you like are walking down this hallway.
I think he turns to us and says, "Call my chariot. We won't have any need of inconspicuousness any longer."
She nods and sends the communication. But yeah, the guy looks at you and he says, I have something that your faction might want.
My faction? Isn't he part of my faction?
And then maybe that confuses you at first. Then
I forgot we're like fragmented or whatever, right? That's the thing.
I mean, yeah, there are people who are part of the race and maybe use the light holograms that aren't necessarily part of the Perihelion like command structure. So it's not unheard of. But probably you might be surprised.
The majority, if not, I think all of the people in my population are direct descendants of.
Right.
But yeah, I guess they don't all have to care.
They don't necessarily all like fit in with the actual governance of the thing or follow orders necessarily. But basically, and honestly, like Beiruz probably knows exactly. Like once he says he's not of your faction, you probably know exactly who he probably is. He's probably part of a faction called the Dawn Riders. The Dawn Riders are the noble hunters who hunt perfect genetic specimens. That's on the map. They often like find like particularly skilled or interesting and unique slaves among whatever population is around here, and like try to sell them to particular perihelions like as particular servants. And so he says,
Well, hold on. Would it be normal for us to think of each other as different factions, or just
they make a very very firm stance as like not being part of the perihelions. They like live out in the desert, not in the wasteland exactly, but like away from Azimuth, so to the north a bit. They're like nomads. And they have basically like hover chariots that they like pilot. It's not like the actual flying things that you guys have, but like more hover vehicles than anything. But he says, I have something that your faction might want.
You're from the Dawn Riders then, I take it?
Indeed.
And what is it that we might want?
Are there any unfriendly ears about? This is a rather big secret I'm about to expose.
It's probably safe to assume that all ears are unfriendly. Why don't we find somewhere else to discuss this? And then we'll see if we can just sort of go outside and find an area that isn't. Or actually, probably just wait for my chariot to do it there.
Yeah. So you're kind of like standing out in the open in the desert there.
I have a chariot coming, if you don't mind a ride on something so garish.
It's actually been a while since I've ridden in one of those, so I wouldn't mind it. Can't be gone long, though.
No, that's all right.
Yeah, he probably waits until like it actually arrives because he can just have the conversation with you in like the chariot. So tell us what the inside of this thing looks like. Well, first, like how does it land and stuff? Like describe this to like is it literally like a private jet is kind of like the equivalent here?
Basically, like hold on, I think I had a picture of it.
Because I would imagine, right, like especially for you as Beirut, you probably have like a little bit of like a lounge area with like a bar and stuff like inside the chariot, right?
I think it was on the Pinterest board that I can't remember. Come on. I had a couple iterations of it. I can't remember which one I landed on. Where are you? Oh, there it is. Okay.
Ooh, yeah, those are cool.
Yeah, I think it was the third one, the one that looks.
This says Novaterra.
Maybe.
The like sharpest one.
So, no, not that one. The one on the right of that. So the one that looks sort of like a boat almost. I think.
Oh, I got it.
Starry background. I think that's what I'm looking at. So yeah, it's sort of like it's actually shaped sort of like a yacht, kind of.
Yeah.
And then
that's what I'm imagining.
Fits, and but it's got like these, sort of like they're shaped like the silhouette of a wing, but the inside is it's just the outer rim of what like a silhouette of a wing would look like,
right?
Which is probably part of why like how it hovers or flies or whatever. So because it doesn't have like any obvious like VTOL thrusters, but it does VTOL when it lands, but then it has like a big sort of like probably like gold glowing ion looking thruster in the back.
Sure.
That pushes it forward, and then it's got like a big. I think there's probably like in the center of the like nose is probably just like a small glowing orb of light that is the weapon. So like it looks just sort of like a floating
orb of light.
Fire. Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, so it lands and you guys get in there and you guys sit at like your whatever private area you have to like speak with VIPs or whatever, right?
Yeah, the inside is lots of gold and like wood and that kind of stuff.
Yeah, and he says, the Dawn Riders have a very unique specimen that they want to sell to the Perihelions.
Did we just lose David?
Something happened. Oh, your camera just went off.
Oh.
For some reason.
I heard some weird static. And then... that was it. Let me just... Well, hold on for a minute. If I unplug it, it'll probably mess with it,
It's not giving me the option to turn on the video. I'd like to ask you to turn it on.
Camera. Literally right here, buddy. Come on. Oh, that was dumb. Whatever.
There you go.
Okay. Okay. Sorry about that.
You're fine.
To fix the overlays. All right. Yes, he says we have a specimen. Okay. So then Barry says, well, we're always interested in the sort of things you guys dig up. What is it that you have this time?
We've captured a forgotten herald.
I knew it.
A few, actually. We've been studying and analyzing them, and we think you might be able to... basically, he says, we've been studying and analyzing them, and I think we've gotten basically all of that we're going to get out of them. I think it might be something that you would be willing to pay quite a lot to acquire.
I admit you have outdone yourself. Oh, actually, yeah. Of course, such an acquisition would be troublesome for our relations with those factions if we ever come into greater contact with them. But
Which is why I insisted upon the utmost discretion in this matter.
I do appreciate that. You know how we appreciate our discretion.
Yeah. He says, as far as I know, no one knows that we have these. And I would like to keep it that way.
As well, I will have to contact the council's members, or I don't know what you would call it. Actually, yeah, I think he would say I'll have to contact Iskander's council and see what they have to say about it. But I have a feeling they'll be happy to hear that you have this.
Very good.
Actually, I probably have a way to contact them on the ship, yeah?
Yeah, probably. I mean, I feel like at this point, it's probably like there's a move that's going to happen here.
Probably.
Let's take a look. This might actually just be your character doing... I don't know. Because obviously there's a deal that's happening here.
Right, yeah.
I'm trying to decide.
I mean, when he calls Iskander, then they're just going to be like, yeah, sure. So
right. There just has to be basically like some sort of trade of surpluses,
right, yeah.
or
all I'm saying is that it won't matter. That call doesn't really matter because the actual important role is
yeah.
I mean, I assume it's something to do with sway, yeah, because that's kind of the whole.
Yeah, I'm just trying to decide if it's. So I think you can probably make some sort of sway roll to make a better deal. But as it stands,
right.
You could just give them something, and then you would get something in return, right?
Right, yeah. I mean, we already lost a lot of stuff recently, so I think... So my thought process here is that I think we can use... well, maybe... I was thinking we could use them to figure out how to cure the disease that we have in the perihelion.
Absolutely, yeah.
But I just wanted to make sure we didn't have something in mind for that already, because I kind of thought I had an idea for that, and I don't know what it is now.
I don't remember anything off the top of my head that
okay.
I was thinking.
Then we'll just go with this because it works well. So my hope is to get rid of that need, but I definitely don't have anything to give them, like surplus-wise. So I guess the question would be what kind of moves, like.
The only thing I can really see here that makes sense is if you're actually trying to like make a roll here, it would be find common ground.
Okay. What kind of?
It's a sway roll.
Yeah, but like I wonder what the options are. Like,
basically, it's like if you give it a 7 and 9, well, on a hit they'll do it if you meet their terms. On a 7 and 9, their player picks 2, and both must be met. On a 10+, they pick 1. So the options are a third party vouches for you. They can change specific parts of the task. They can back out as soon as it costs them. You reduce the threat you pose to them. You give them something now that's worth it. You reveal your full agenda here, or their faction/family gets 1 treaty on you.
So is there something that we could like rather than money? Because I mean, money is already kind of not super common or like a very fleshed out concept in this anyways. Is there something that we could sort of promise them in exchange that might be easier to fit into
the only 2 things that I can think of along those lines is you can either give them your surplus, right? Or you could give them something in the fiction that makes sense that you would be able to provide for them without much like actually being taken from you, but we'd have to like think about what that might be, right? Yeah, I'm just looking at the other moves and seeing if there's anything
I
else
guess
that comes
what kind of stuff do they want? Because obviously they want to get paid because that's what they do.
Yeah, I mean, they just want resources, right? Like materials,
Right.
whatever else.
Yeah.
Because it's basically a barter system at this point, right?
Yeah.
Like if you had tech, you could give it to them.
Right.
I guess technically you could give them data.
I think they have data, don't we?
You have 1 point of data.
So could I give them data on somewhere to find something to hunt?
That could definitely be a thing you could think of, yeah.
Okay. How are they with, like, fighting people? Do they care about that at all? Does that interest them at all?
They're more of like the like capture people thing, but like they
I'm fine
fighting.
With that. Yeah. Well, so my question was whether or not, or my idea was that I could basically like what's the word? Sanction them like basically raiding this new prophets like groups, and so they could basically take this new prophet's soldiers as slaves, right? And we wouldn't stop them or do anything about it. Because so like they could fight those people and then also take them as labor or whatever.
It just sounds like you're getting them to do more work for you, though.
Well, yeah, but I mean that's what a good, negotiator does. I want to try and say it in a way that makes it sound like I'm giving them information because they don't even know there is a new prophet if I did. So I want to try and find a way where I can be like, hey, you guys can do this thing and get this, resource or whatever from these people.
Oh, I see.
Because normally we would have to be like, you can't do that. You're attacking our slave labor.
Right.
And so my idea is to be like, hey, you have permission and even maybe support if you need.
This is a good two birds with one stone situation for you.
It's sort of what I was hoping for, yeah. Because I mean that's Beirut's thing, right? He's supposed to be a negotiator. He has a +3 sway and all that kind of stuff. So
sure. Yeah. I mean, yeah. Roll find common ground, and we can figure out the details of that. Do you want to spend your point of data to get advantage on this roll?
Makes sense, yeah.
Yeah.
That's basically what I'm doing.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, there's roll 20. He's just covered by a thing.
Yep. Okay. So it's 2d6 plus sway.
Or 2d6,
so 2d6 K2 plus 3 for you.
It'd be 3d6 K2.
Yes, 3d6. Yes, thank you.
K2
plus 3 for your sway. Yeah. Nice.
Thanks.
Yeah. So 13. Okie dokie. So on a 10 plus, they pick 1. Yeah, and basically it's like you give them something now that's worth it. That's the main thing they wanted, and information about that I think is a good deal. Yeah. Yeah. So basically you say, hey, there's this new prophet and she has a magic cloak, and that might catch a fine price.
Yeah. Yeah. I think he says, yeah, he's like, as you know, the Hellbreakers, as they call themselves, are under our protection, but it's come to my attention that there are some dissident elements, and, well, I am sure that Azimuth would not mind too much if those elements were to fall under new management. And of course, maybe they would even be willing to assist you in such an endeavor, especially in exchange for such a generous gift as a few why can I never lost heralds, yeah?
Forgotten heralds.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I think he says, I think that maybe sounds like a good deal.
Excellent. Well, feel free to contact us when you intend to execute on your new rights, as it were, and we will be sure that there are no elements to disturb you in doing
yeah, he just smiles a toothy grin and he says, I will make sure to do so, my friend.
Well, I appreciate your visit. I think this will be very profitable for the both of us.
I hope so.
And he says, yes, well, visits the like I think they're probably like combing the land or something soon. It's like a chariot will take you back to wherever it is you need to be. You did say you had to be gone in a hurry.
He nods and says, "I'd appreciate that. Thank you. Do you mind if I help myself to the drinks in this cabin here on my way back?"
Not nice about it.
Yeah. Cool. Yeah.
Sweet.
You know, I love the way that went because that whole scene was like Episiazos gives Beruz incredibly important information. Beruz frustrates Episiazo, so he just leaves, and then Beruz turns right around and then uses that to his major advantage without Episiazos actually getting anything of benefit from the whole situation.
Oh, Episiazos got plenty of benefit from
I'm sure
the
he got what
situation.
he needed. Yeah.
Yeah.
I was a little surprised.
Episiazos got a lot from that.
Yeah.
Sure.
But yeah, I like how it played out for Bears. Like, I like how he feels.
Yeah. Cool. Well, let's go ahead and take a break there and then come back and see what else is up in the Hellbreaker sequence. Stick around. We got more RPG action when we return.